Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, agents. I'm Mounty Carl, and welcome to another Let's Talk. And this Let's Talk is going to be a little bit different because it's going to just detail a lot of stuff that is coming in 1.6. And so let's just dive into it because there is a lot of stuff to get to. And let's start with the new Dark Zone areas. I'm very excited that they're going to be adding more Dark Zone areas. I don't think it matters where, you're finding people or going rogue on people or whatever. It's just going to be bigger. There's going to be more room to run. And with Dark Zones 7 through 9 being added north of the Dark Zone 6 and in Midtown East, there's going to be some new landmarks and feature waves of enemies. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be like a little horde mode up there. Landmarks will award you now with additional loot placed directly into your inventory, which is very cool. So you don't have to go ahead and extract that stuff. That is very cool. And some of this stuff, I actually have been reading through this and seeing that, some of my ideas, at least the ones that I've put out there, have been implemented into this 1.6. And I honestly, I don't know if it's my stuff or somebody else suggested it, but I know that it's stuff that I wanted in there, so that's very exciting. So now you can fast travel between Dark Zone checkpoints, and that's become available and will be available for all of us to use as well, but we'll lose the loot that we have on our backs. But this makes it so much simpler. No more having to go outside the Dark Zone and travel up, and it just makes it so much easier to do from inside this. So now we can just go ahead and fast travel the checkpoints when we're chasing down rogues and get ahead of them. It's going to make it a lot tougher for rogues to get away. So that's very cool. So next thing is Contamination Events, and this was something that I had campaigned for a lot. And so there's going to be new Contamination Events that have been added to the Dark Zone, and roughly every hour there's going to be some elite cleaners that spawn in the Dark Zone underground. And the cool thing is I didn't even think about this because this was a very cool idea. The contamination areas in those zones that these guys spawn in are going to reach above the normal level of contamination, so your virus filter won't be able to handle it. And so it's going to be very hard to go down there, stay down there for a long time, and kill these guys. That's going to be super cool. I'm very interested in seeing that. Something I don't really care about is Dark Zone leaderboards. All I think it does is promote douchebaggery in the Dark Zone. So they're adding leaderboards to the Dark Zone. What it's going to be tracking a wide range of different activities in PvP and PvE. All tracked activities will be turned into a total score, kind of like survival. I don't know. It's interesting to see that they're putting this in, but I don't think it really has anything to do. I think it takes away from the game. It takes away from the kind of the RPG that you're role playing. So I mean, in real life, if this was happening, they're not putting in a Dark Zone leaderboard for you. Aaron Keener isn't going to put up a giant Dark Zone leaderboard for you. Nobody's putting up a leaderboard for you. The leaderboard ranking is just for your EPness to, for people to, so now when somebody goes rogue on you, they're going to be like, oh, look at me, I'm number 10 on the leaderboard. Yeah, bow down. Yeah, I'm so cool. Yeah, that's all it's going to be. I think this is absolutely ridiculous, and I think that this is something that came directly from the ETF people, because some of those people I know are pretty, into their into themselves. So I won't name any names, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm sure you can guess who they are, but let's go ahead and just move on from that because I don't think it's worth very much time. I think it's going to be something that is only going to be used by people who need some sort of self-worth in the division. So let's move on. Legendary difficulty. They're adding in legendary difficulty mode, and it's going to be added to Times Square, Warrengate Power Plant, and Napalm Production Site, and it will feature new, powerful, and smarter enemies. I don't know what smarter enemies means, but the legendary difficulty is going to be the most challenging content in the game to date, and is intended for organized groups. So 4 people. That's pretty much what we've all been doing already. So probably you need to be working with friends. It's going to be like the incursion. It's going to be very hard, especially Warrengate Power Plant. I hate that thing on challenge mode, at least back in the day, back when it was super hard to do. If you didn't have enough DPS, you weren't going to finish it, and you wouldn't know until about 3/4 of the way through the thing. So but that's pretty cool. So legendary difficulty rewards you with unique vanity items not available anywhere else in the game, on top of the regular rewards. So that's very cool that you're going to be able to get those. I'm not sure exactly what those things are going to be, or if anybody's going to really want to do them, or they're going to be worth it. But still cool nonetheless that they're going to be adding in new vanity items that you're not going to have to pay for. So let's go ahead. Exotic weapons and gear sets. Named gear pieces and weapons are now called exotics. Well, ain't that novel? I wonder where they could have got the name exotics from. Let's take a look. I don't know. They've been given their own color in your inventory. Thank goodness. Now we can actually see when something drops that we can go ahead and do this. And exotic weapons will have their own unique talents. Thank goodness that they're changing this stuff. I mean, this is stuff that, a lot of people campaign for, a lot, myself included, that named weapons, need to actually be something, more rare than what it is. So finally, after, 6 patches, it's finally coming to fruition. So, and exotic weapon sets have been introduced, and exotic caches are available as a weekly reward from legendary difficulty missions. So that is very cool. So it sounds like you're going to be able to get Lorraine's chest piece somewhere else, but who knows if that's even going to be relevant after this update. So let's go ahead and move on to some gear set changes. The Alpha Bridge 4-piece bonus now shares the free talent from your weapons instead of all 3. That sucks for a lot of people, because this thing was so OP, and I don't even think it was OP. I think it was fine the way it is. It's not like I'm sitting there watching this thing being used. I see a lot of different metas being used in the Dark Zone. It wasn't always the Alpha Bridge, but this is going to be a significant hit. It is actually putting the Alpha Bridge set back to the Stone Age where nobody was using it, and this is going to hurt a lot of people. The Frontline 4-piece no longer removes the critical hit chance. Instead, it removes the effect of any mods you have applied on the shield. So that's okay. The Reclaimer set bonus on the support station, its 4-piece bonus activates all support station mods simultaneously. That is very cool. That you're going to see people building metas around that, because that is very cool. That's going to be very huge in PvE. No longer has an effect on consumables. So the consumables are gone, and now its 4-piece bonus activates a support station and all the mods simultaneously, which is very cool. That's going to be used in PvE a lot. I can see that being used as a support gear. I'm glad that they're actually looking at this, and they're actually building out not just offensive but actual support classes and stuff like that. Tactician's authority buff only disappears after you use a skill. Well, that's actually pretty good, but I don't like the fact that it disappears. It shouldn't disappear at all. It should stay at, whatever it is when you're in a group, and it should stay there until you it should work very similar to the strikers. I feel like when you miss, it goes down 1%. When you hit, it goes up 1%, or something like that. When you miss, it goes down 2%. I think that should actually be something very added to very added to the game. That sounds stupid, but it should be added to the game. I think that's the way it should work, but we'll see how this works. But and then there's a new gear set, Seeker, which has been added to the game. There's no details really on that yet. I can only imagine that it's basically like running tacticians, except with a seeker mine. Except no, I'm just kidding. I have no idea what it is, but that'd be pretty funny if it's just focused on the seeker mines, since that's kind of the meta of what's going on. So armor and resistance changes. Armor has been removed as a major bonus and replaced with health. Gear still comes with base armor, and some talents will still give you armor bonuses, but that's pretty much it. Armor has been removed as a major bonus. Well, that sucks. I no idea what they're going to do with armor. It'll be interesting to see. Once the PTS hits, we'll actually be able to see what that effect has on it. But it sounds like, a lot of people were petitioning for this, making sure that armor wasn't a class specific. It was just the native armor rule was it, and we didn't have to focus on all the armor. Now we can get just health, and so that's good. Health and stamina are your primary means of toughness. It's really interesting that they made this change. I have no idea how this is going to affect the game itself, how it's going to affect your overall toughness in the Dark Zone. Resistance have become analog instead of binary. Diminishing returns have been added to status effects, other parts of the game have been rebalanced as a result. So to make sure that you have time to kill and time to kill stay balanced, and all changes will be retroactive, meaning that all of your gear that you have now won't have armor on it when you log in once 1.6 drops, and that's a pretty important change. So I would definitely keep a lookout on that, because that is actually going to make your recalibration. Oh, and I hope what they do is, because we've all re-rolled armor on stuff, is make it so that we can now recalibrate this stuff and do that. So this is going to be really interesting to see what's happening. So let's go ahead. Skill power changes have been added. Skill power has now been moved to a system similar to armor, where each new world tier you reach will demand more skill power to reach the same effectiveness as your skills. There's a bigger difference in skill efficiency between low and high skill builds. I don't feel like this was a needed change. I have no idea where this change came from. I feel this is, there weren't a lot of people running skill builds, and yeah, there were a lot of people upset at the skill builds because they were, getting close to that one-shot kill. But if you had enough toughness, it didn't matter. And I guess maybe if with the new armor stuff, this is going to be, the skill builds will be actually much more potent. So I guess this is kind of, what the change is. It's more of a balancing change than anything. And they've rebalanced signature skill, which is actually really good. They made it impossible to trigger a signature skill when you're already suffering from its immunity debuff. Tactical link bonus damage has been lowered in PvP. So there's a couple things there that are actually really good. So no more of these 4-man groups that are just popping one signature skill after another to try and down you. And the tactical link is no longer going to be a viable, just run up, pop your tactical link and down a rogue. That's going to be very interesting. It feels very much like the shotgun. People were just, tired of getting, face rammed and face tanked in the previous versions, so now they're just going to make it so that tactical link is probably on par with the security link. So PvP balance change. Hipfire stability while moving has been decreased, and there's new hipfire camera added. Damage gap between body damage and headshots will be lowered when rolling. This is huge. This is probably the biggest one that I have. Rolling now, there's a 1-second delay before you can roll. Now you can't just sit there and spam the roll button. So there's going to be a lot of people out there who are, the mad skill PvP players who, all they do is roll around on the ground until their stuff recharges, and then they pop up and shoot you and do all that stuff. These guys are dead. These guys are basically going to be rage quitting after they see that, because they're not being able to do that. Also, you can no longer reload your weapon while sprinting. That's going to suck for a lot of rogues, making the Banshee gear set actually more viable for rogues, because it resets your ammo, reloads your ammo every 30 seconds. Or I don't know if that affects it, but it might. But Banshee build might actually come into play a little bit more now. Medkits now can be now used at full health and remove certain status effects. The rejuvenated talent has been changed to give additional resistance to status effects. Adrenaline no longer gives you an overheal from medkits. Instead, it will give a heal over time. That's kind of dumb. I don't agree with that. There's no reason why that should have been. And your enemy's health bar will flash whenever they use a medkit. Well, that's fine. Survivability talents like On the Move, Battle Buddy, and Critical Save have some balancing changes. They didn't say what they were, but yeah, those are probably going to affect the game as well. It looks like there's a whole lot of different things coming in that are going to affect the PvP balance and a lot of the PvE balance as well. So economy changes. Unlimited recalibration has been introduced. The price increases each time, capping out at 5 recalibrations. So now, finally, once you hit that 5th recalibration, there is no more of the just increase over and over again. I had pieces of armor that were like 50 million pieces just to reroll, just because you're doing over and over again. Helping civilians will now reward you with intel instead of crappy items that nobody wanted. High-end pistols and survival no longer cost division tech. Thank goodness. Good. Golly, man, that is a needed change. The scavenger box now scales with the world tier, so that's actually pretty good, because that was absolutely terrible getting a 163 on tier 5, and there's been item prices have been tweaked to probably to, adjust for the inflation of everybody having just billions of dollars. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money everybody has at this point because there's nothing to buy. Nobody wants to buy anything. There's no reason to buy anything with your credits if you're level 30. So all we're doing is just sitting here racking up credits and over again. So some other changes to mention: all activities now reward their own separate experience points and awards for their own caches. In survival, solo players can no longer end up in games with players queuing as a group. That's huge. That's pretty awesome. I actually like this one. This is actually one of the things that I think are most important. It's nice to have a large group of solo players and not players, that are, queuing. I mean, this is more for PvP, not for PvE, because it doesn't really matter if you have 4 players in PvP versus 1 player in PvE. It's really just amazing that they're doing this stuff. Grouping up while in PvP survival game has been disabled. Oh, so you can't group up anymore while in a PvP survival game. That has been disabled. That is, well, I guess that means that solo players can no longer end up in games with players queuing as group. I have no idea. I mean, I guess you could just group up for PvE and you're not going to be put into a lobby with solo players. All I can see is that this is going to increase your time waiting for survival. That's all I can think of this. And then reviving down player in survival always costs a med pack. I didn't think it did otherwise. So that's the major changes that are coming to 1.6. There's some other things. I haven't heard anything about the new survival game type anymore, other than that first leak day where they were talking about it and everybody was like, yeah, it's gonna be like Hunger Games. And I mean, this is kind of what it is, but that would be cool. I would be in favor of kind of like even adding that mode in just to survival, where you have to be the last man standing in order to get out. Something like that would actually be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that. That wouldn't be something that I would be hating on, mostly because I do play survival solo most of the time, mostly because playing it in a group is very, it's not very beneficial to me. I know that, people are like, oh, it can save you and it can, has lots of benefits, but for me, I mean, sure, yes, it's more the merrier, but being able, I know where I'm going, I know what I want to do, I don't have to want to wait for somebody else. And I found that a lot of the times when I'm playing in a group, they're holding me back from actually progressing a lot faster than I want to, and my timer runs down a lot faster. And sure, that end game is going to be a little bit easier to extract, but from what I found is that if you just hang out outside, and this is pro tip here for all you people who don't know, don't run into the extraction area if you see somebody fighting a hunter or something like that when you're trying to extract. If you're trying to extract, wait for the signal from the helicopter and watch it start descending, and then run your ass in there, because then your hunter won't spawn. The helicopter will go down. You'll be able to get in the helicopter without any problems. There won't be a hunter that spawns, or even if they spawn, you'll be in the helicopter before he even makes it there. So that's really the pro tip there. That's what I do now, is if I see someone extracting and I need to extract, then I just do that. I just wait outside the boundary of the zone. That way you're basically just waiting for that helicopter to descend, and there's I mean, if there's a lot of people in there, yeah, you're taking a risk. But either way, it's fine. I think that you'll make the helicopter, especially now when it's only solo people that are going to be in PvP and groups that are only in PvE. So if you're in a group or you're solo, then just wait outside. Just wait for your hunter. If you don't want to kill a hunter, just wait outside the area. That's the best thing to do. So, anyways, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and drop a like on it. Big shout out to my friend Infamous, who let me just go ahead and talk about Infamous. Me and Infamous just started becoming friends. I met him online a couple months ago. He was interested in starting a YouTube channel. He asked me for some help, and so I have been kind of taking him under my wing and mentoring him through the YouTube channel process and getting his equipment and all that stuff, and getting him more interested. And thank you guys for all those people who have gone over and subscribed to him. I just posted a video this morning of him go ahead and sharing with you. It's a very personal video. It's very touching. I'm a big supporter myself of what he's gone through. I myself have battled with depression, battled with suicidal thoughts and stuff like that, as we all have. And I might do a video like this because it's funny. A lot of you come on and meet me in groups and stuff like that, and I am a completely different person than what I portray on my channel, because I portray, somebody on YouTube, and it's not, exactly who, I mean, most of you are a little shocked to find out that, I don't have roommates. I have a wife and a child, as opposed to, and I've been married for quite some time, as opposed to, like, people are like, oh, you have roommates. I'm like, no, I have people I live with. I have to be quiet at night because I don't want to wake up my kid, because he comes out and he all he wants to do is watch me play Division or something along those lines. But and then people are like, well, how old are you, Mountie Carl? And Mountie Carl replies with his age, and people are like, WTF, that is you are not who I thought you were. I thought you were like some 18-year-old kid, and that is not the case. Mountie Carl has seen a lot of things in his time, but that's neither here nor there. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and drop a like on it. Please consider subscribing to my channel as more content comes out, and we cover more 1.6 during the PTS. Yes, we will be covering PTS stuff in 1.6 in just I have no idea how long. It seems like this is going to be a few weeks away. Probably we're looking at mid-February now, that after I'm talking to some people. And by the way, my friend no longer works at Ubisoft. He's taken a position at EA Games. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, but hey, more power to him. EA pays more for their QA than Ubisoft does, and he actually enjoys the commute a little bit more. So anyways, that's my time. Thank you so much for watching, and please hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you guys next time. For all of us here at The Division, I am Mountie Carl, and we'll see you in the PTS. Agent out.